pleasant day to each and everyone. I am Purificacion P. Canceran, currently enrolled at Isabela State University, taking up Masters in Information Technology. My thesis entitled Web-Based Disposition and Retention of Centralized Communications of the Department of Agrarian Reform Office. The background of the study. The Department of Agrarian Reform is the lead government agency that holds and implements comprehensive and genuine agrarian reform, which actualizes equitable land distribution, ownership, agricultural productivity, and tenurial security for, of, and with the tillers of the land towards the improvement of their quality of life. The function of the department is to lead in the implementation of agrarian reform and sustainable development in the country through land tenure improvement and the provision of integrated development services to landless farmers, farm workers, and small landowners' cultivation, and the delivery of agrarian justice as key to long-lasting peace and development of the countryside. In response to RA 9740, also known as an act to strengthen the system of management and administration of archival records, establishing for the purpose the National Archives of the Philippines and for other purpose. The Department of Agrarian Reform issued a Memorandum Circular No. 7, Series of 2008, amending Memorandum Circular No. 6, Series of 1983, titled DAR Records Retention and Disposition Schedule, and adopting the Comprehensive DAR Records Retention and Disposition Schedule approved by the National Archives of the Philippines on June 5, 2008, wherein the DAR record officers and record custodians nationwide to discuss, among others, the updating of an archaic DAR record and disposition and retention schedule. Specifically, the records officers have to focus on the formulation of a new records disposition system as basis for moving the permanent records of DAR to the National Archives or to the department's various records storage centers and decongest the DAR of its vast records holdings, which have been kept for. The problem, however, was the absence of a legal basis with which to support this agenda. The study is based on the present situation that record file management is not efficient and was done manually at the Department of Agrarian Reform Provincial Office. It is an investigation into the state of record keeping in the department with a view to putting forward strategies that will improve record keeping in institutions. This will also address the issued Memorandum Circular No. 7 Series of 2008. Objectives of the study. The main objective of the study is to develop a web-based disposition and retention of centralized communications of the Department of Agrarian Reform Office. Specifically, it aims to identify and eliminate poor record keeping in short and long-term basis, which makes the processing and retrieval difficult. Identify minimum requirements for retrieval and processing of data. Create a logical framework and model that will address the problems in retention and disposition of records. Utilize standard measures in evaluating the developed system. Evaluate the developed system in terms of data integrity, efficiency, security, and proficiency. Further analyze the system and recommend future improvement of the system. Statement of the problem. The development of the proposed web-based disposition and retention of centralized communications of the Department of Agrarian Reform tries to address the following questions. What are the active and inactive documents? What method used in recording the documents? How fast is the retrieval of documents? How many intervals are there in the retention period? And how much is the capacity of the SSD. These are the methods and process. For research design, methods to be used in this study is the input, process, output, and the software to be used for the development of the system is Visual Basic. The descriptive method was used in the processing of the gathered data. The efficiency of the proposed web-based disposition and retention of centralized communications of the Department of Agrarian Reform Office was measured through retention and disposition of the documents based on the life cycle. For disposition, the test for the disposition will be done once the document has already reached the life cycle, which will be determined at the type of the documents to be archived. For the survey questionnaire, a structured questionnaire tool was used for the respondents' perception and the adaptability level of the web-based disposition and retention of the documents. This is the disposition schedule. The flow diagram shows the disposition schedule of the documents from the creation of receipt to disposition or archiving, and this is the retention schedule. The flow diagram shows the retention schedule of the documents from the creation of the records to archiving selection by arrangement, whether to be classified as permanent record, temporary record, and for disposal. This is the IPO model. For the input, we have the department problem encountered and the present situation of the department in recording active and inactive records. And for the process, we have the analysis of the value of records and the archiving. And for the output, we have the web-based disposition and retention system, which will be classified as retain and dispose or destroy, and then the feedback. We have the analytic model or the application. The analytic model is the exploratory data analysis or the descriptive, and the data mining or the predictive analytics. This is the analytic model or application. The data was loaded, the attributes were recognized by WECA, and some simple statistics were calculated for each attribute during the data analysis. This is the results of the process data using WECA. And based on the process data, the mean average of retention period is 8.2. So for the conclusion, based on the process data in the WECA, the average mean of retention period is 8.2 and the statistical deviation is 2.6. I have a note here that the process data in the WECA is not complete in the sense that the raw data used is not accurate. And for my recommendation, based on the results of the study, the researchers would like to recommend to the Department of Agrarian Reform, Isabela, Philippines, the proper implementation of the proposed system to benefit the respondents of the study and the entire department, and to strengthen the findings of this study. Another kind of this research work should be undertaken. In regard of the developed system, the researchers would like to recommend to include a backup system so that the user does not have any issues when the system will break down. And that's all. Thank you.